Canadian Jack Singer was a bomb aimer with the RAF's No. 9 Squadron. Singer was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross for displaying the utmost fortitude, courage, and devotion to duty in numerous operations.
Don't worry about showing anything to the camera or anything like that. Just be natural. Not too natural.
It's a great one of all the
grandkids.
Cousins together at the cottage with Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah, I remember Em and Jess used to come every summer.
Yeah.
It's always strange to see pictures of him without his mustache now.
It is. It is. I think my grandfather wrote the book as a way for him to get his experience out there, and not only for his family and grandkids, but for other people as well. My fiance's dad actually read the book, and he called me, and he just called me to thank me for passing the book along to him, because he'd always wondered what was going through their minds, how they were able to do what they did, and why. And he found this book very enlightening and interesting, and a piece of the history that he found he was missing. It's a good mixture of facts with funny stories in between to help you really get a sense of what it was like.
I remember him coming over and my parents typing it up on the computer, and the old floppy disks and everything. Yeah. And it passed through a lot of hands before it reached the point where it was published and blue coil bound. Mine's dog-eared, got some stains. Yeah, so at first it was just passed around coil bound like this to anyone who was really willing to read it. You know, he's even written dedications in them to each of us. When I was 19 during World War II, I joined the Royal Canadian Air Force. This story tells my experiences and how I saw it. Perhaps someday you will show it to your grandchildren. Grandpa.
Sometimes you're reading the book and it's like you're reading just a novel, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, this is Grandpa, you know? It's really wild.
Yeah. I can't imagine going through the experiences he went through, and then, you know, raising a great family and grandkids and being the way he was. I don't know how anyone would, you know, be able to do that after what he experienced, but...
You know, all those kinds of amazing emotions and overwhelming things going on all at once, and then you realize, no, I know this guy. He's my grandfather. It's unbelievable.
The sight and sound of 400 aircraft taking big trouble to Hitler and his cronies must have been a great morale booster for those on the ground. The first scary incident was when a Lancaster flying directly above us had its bomb doors open. They were going to drop them any second on our kite. I yelled, left, left, 5 degrees. The skipper banked away and we were clear. Our troubles were not over yet. After we had dropped our bombs and started heading back, I checked for hang-ups, bombs that hadn't released. A 1,000-pound bomb was still secure in its carrier. It could explode upon landing. I crawled along the fuselage and used the hand-operated release system. It worked, and the bomb dropped into the English Channel. It's hard to believe the luck of this crew. What a dangerous way to earn a living. But we had all volunteered.
This is something that my grandfather went through, and many other men like him, and you know, it kind of personalizes it. Yeah, I think he really believes that what they did in the war in Bomber Command was significant and important. Even, I think it's just in the foreword, he talks about how, you know, how many men died in Bomber Command, the survival rate, and then, you know, even some perspectives from German writers after the war on how devastating the effects of Bomber Command were on their ability to create war. With respect to the monument being unveiled, I think he'd be absolutely thrilled about it.
Well, I think he'd be so pleased, and I think he'd be so proud, and I know that if he were here today, I'm sure, and if he were well at Grandma, and he would have made the trip down to go and see that for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
we've never experienced a war, and we have this wonderful country and this great life, and I think, you know, it's also important for us to realize why we have that, you know. It's people like our grandpa.
It was a dangerous place to fight your war, but for me and my fellow crew members, we always thought that Bomber Command was really contributing in a big way to the shortening of the war and to the saving of Allied ground forces' lives. War should be avoided if at all possible, but not at all costs. We did what we had to do to bring the war to a successful conclusion. We had to fight back, and I do not regret having done my duty.
The fact that Grandpa wrote this book for us, it was such an amazing gift that he gave to us.